Words appear. Communication Access Real-Time Translation. CART services for deaf and hard of hearing people.
Communication Access Real-Time Translation, also known as CART, is available to deaf and hard of hearing people who seek an alternative to American Sign Language Interpreting, or ASL, or reliance on assistive listening devices.
A CART machine hooked to a laptop.
CART is an advanced and accurate translation method that uses a human captioner assisted by computer-based captioning technology to transcribe spoken dialogue word for word into written sentences.
Students take notes.
CART is widely used in a variety of educational, professional, and personal settings.
In an office, a student and a captioner.
For example, here at the University of Washington, CART is often used to enhance students' ability to learn in a classroom setting and communicate with instructors, mentors, and peers. CART provides real-time word-for-word translation, transcribing each word as it is being spoken.
On a large screen.
University of Washington. I was part of the first summer academy here.
Dwayne, student.
What CART does, it just actually types that exact word and leaves it up to you whether you know it or not. Like, you can ask the question, what does that mean? Or if you do know what that word means, you're understanding what it's saying. If you have verbatim, word by word print right there in front of you, you're able to understand more and like have a lesser chance of misinterpreting what they're saying.
CART is noted for its accuracy, speed, and wide variety of practical applications. These qualities enable CART users to follow dialogue more efficiently and precisely.
Jesse, student.
CART has been really helpful, like for example, in a really large classroom, and it can be really noisy, especially when everyone just talking all at once. So CART has really helped me understand my classmates, what they are talking about, and not better.
CART providers are able to customize their services to accommodate each user's needs and preferences. Text font size and text color can be modified to fit each CART user's preference. When working in a live setting, providers will try to position themselves so that they can clearly hear a speaker and simultaneously watch the transcription they are producing in order to correct any mistakes. There are different display options to fit different settings. These include personal computer screens, projection screens, television monitors, and mobile devices. If CART is being used in a group setting, a larger display can be very beneficial.
A large monitor in a classroom.
In classroom or workplace situations where a user needs to follow and understand complex vocabulary, CART can be very advantageous. In certain settings, such as math and science classrooms, CART's word-for-word translation is a useful resource.
Samir, student. Samir Signs. Subtitles. In lecture halls, like computer science programming classes, with in-depth technical vocabulary, it's useful because programs like Java have a lot of technical words that can be hard to interpret. But using CART, I can see the exact words and keep up. I'm not losing vocabulary that is hard to interpret.
CART can be used in a variety of settings and can be flexible according to each user's needs. CART technology allows it to be used in a mobile setting, such as a tour or site visit.
The captioner follows a small group down a hall.
This flexibility enables users to engage in real-life situations in which participation might otherwise be challenging.
One participant uses a smartphone, another a laptop. Eric, student. Eric Signs. CART is neat because it is the closest to direct communication with a speaker.
So I drew up my own tag on the computer and printed it out.
I can read the captions and catch specific things about how a speaker is communicating and what they're saying.
Upon approval, at the end of a CART session, a written log of the transcription can be sent to you and saved for studying or record-keeping purposes.
Samir Signs. When class is finished, they give me the transcript so I can read it. I can read through it after class in case I miss something or the interpreter missed something. It's useful for studying.
For ASL users, there are different ways to utilize CART in a classroom setting with other hearing individuals or instructors. If an ASL interpreter is not available while using CART, an option is to type replies on a laptop computer for the CART provider or your seatmate to voice. CART can also be used in a teleconference setting, allowing a user to join a conference call using a remote CART provider. In this situation, the CART provider and user both remotely join the conference call, and the user receives a live transcription of the teleconference on their internet-enabled computer. There are other speech-to-text services available.
Words appear.
cPrint is a real-time speech-to-text translation service. It uses a meaning-for-meaning translation system. This allows it to summarize a large amount of information very quickly. Typewell works in a similar fashion to cPrint, providing meaning-for-meaning transcription. Both services can be useful depending on the situation, but do not provide word-for-word transcription as CART does. Automatic Speech Recognition, or ASR, uses an electronic device to capture speech and then internally translate it into text. It promises to become an effective, independent translation source, but at the present time, variables such as noise, pronunciation, pitch, volume, and accents can disrupt the automatic translation process and make the transcript difficult to read. CART and other similar transcription services provide many benefits, including equal communication access and independence, while fostering full participation in a variety of settings. Students, professionals, and others that are deaf or hard of hearing can benefit from the versatility and comprehension offered by real-time transcription services.
Jesse.
I really got caught and it's really helpful, especially when you know and know the environment, and especially when your teacher or your classmate is talking very quickly, or if you cannot hear anything correctly, like 100% of the time.
Eric Signs. CART is beneficial if you want to learn about people or if you want to pinpoint specifics, and you don't want anyone to paraphrase for you because you could risk missing something.
With CART, I'm able to, be active and be engaged fully in whatever the subject is.
For more information, consult www.uw.edu/accesscomputing. Credits: Director Kyle Seago, Executive Producers Richard Ladner, Cheryl Bergstaller, Producer Rob Roth. Special thanks to Dwayne Cooper Jr., Eric Epstein, Samir Jain, Jesse Zhang. This presentation was created with support from the National Science Foundation, grant number CNS 1042260, and the Department of Computer Science and Engineering and Access Technology Center at the University of Washington. Copyright 2014, University of Washington. Permission is granted to copy these materials for educational, non-commercial purposes, provided the source is acknowledged. Described by AudioEyes.